This Chef Smith issue is actually very serious. Like, he was able to scam a whole country. Like, but then I want to look at it from a different angle. Utie akwanasem any reasons or dema any yeah. So far as I am concerned, none of them make sense. I was one of the people a bar said, okay, the certificate need a fake. Ya call ya email Guinness World Records. Almost no. Nay, all of these things about. Some of us were of the view say he's probably been scammed. I mean, quite known say these days most of the popular websites they have fake accounts too. Obe try so register for something. If you don't actually do your due diligence, you may end up falling for a fake website and go through the due process, make some payments and all of that, only to realize at the end of the day, say a fake website. I'm saying that because there's a lot of those things, especially when it comes to Canada immigration, for instance. Amount for are paying just to assess their scores for express entry, and I've been teaching that for a while, so I know those things are real. So that was what I honestly thought. So probably he registered on a fake website. They gave him the go ahead to do it and everything. And especially when it came out, said there's this Twitter or X account that has posted, say yes, indeed, he has won, no? And he's the new record holder. No? I felt my argument is all but confirmed, only for him to have the interview for us to realize he planned this all along. But like I said, I want to take it from a mental health perspective. We all know that we live in a country, Ghana especially, and Africa as a whole. Uh, Mental health is not really a big thing. Like when you say mental health, the first thing that comes to people's mind, and they say, oh, we'll be our bottom. Because for us, mental health is black and white. It's either so what dream with the whole and that's what bottom. As simple as that. So when it gets to a point where people get through these experiences, now about out tries about explaining to let people know the gray areas when it comes to mental health. It makes it a little bit more difficult for people to accept it. Like even Obi Enya like broken hearts in a relationship, that's a mental health issue. At that time, the things they are going through, that's a mental health issue. People are going through depression, like Funny Face and the likes. We are all aware now. Went through depression. Those are all mental health issues. So at that time, now the person is going through it, or more than. But also, an adrimun nahon so and now what to say, yen to say it, yeah, so yen shouldn't need a EBA or say. It's not always black and white. Look at the reasons that this guy, am I? He felt he had worked so hard trying his best, but he's not getting enough wages. He tried 1,500, 2,000, and so far as he's concerned, he has too many responsibilities. So and so no. There are people earning less than thousands rupees in Ghana these days, and they are not thinking of scamming people. So to me, it doesn't make sense. But then, yes, Obi to sell on the sales enough for him. I understand. There's a lot of people more bread, but at the end of the day, they have nothing to show for it. And that alone is enough to give someone a mental health problem, to put them through a mental health issue, to give them psychological trauma. Like over Canada, Hanoi, for instance. At a point, I was like, there's somebody be a mental health. Who should be a new crown? No one should be a crown. I was like, hey, mental health, psychological trauma. Will be about school. Na no one trying exams or no one can pass it. Na teacher ni ama na field mark no was teacher no wakɔ report say teacher na man psychological trauma, and as a result school need to me a question teacher and say on review the marks just because one man psychological, like here everything is about psychological trauma. They can use psychological trauma for as an excuse for just about anything. But it got to a point like you get to understand these things are real. It's not like everybody is faking it. Yes, some people may fake it, but especially in this case, for instance, this guy, so far as I am concerned, is suffering from a psychological trauma. Why? Because it doesn't make sense for someone like him to come out and say, okay, me baba ifiki ade we say, no watia tenase, I planned this one true and true. So at the end of the day, mayor and people will actually believe it. And no one in the world would bother to even go and check the official Guinness World Records and know if he is indeed holding it or not. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Here is the case that we obia betinyako online, Google. I'll just go to their website and check. The very minute you announce it, that very minute, people are checking. So there's no way you can lie about this thing and expect it to hold. That is why I'm thinking that no one in the right senses will ever think that this is actually going to hold. So clearly at the time he was planning this, he wasn't of sound mind. Maybe he came to his senses later, but when he was planning it, he wasn't of sound mind. Whether it was because of a hochena or go through, whether it was because of something being a pushy said he clearly wasn't of sound mind when he planned it. But in this world, there are certain things that once you start, it's like there's no going back. Imagine we about pusty so maybe be a cookaton. Na wa circulate all over. Baby amobia uni so be cookaton. Then they not drew also have Madrian Bamamus say fake it mean. People will even laugh at him. His reputation will be lost at that time. So probably he felt okay. Even though somebody realized, oh dear, well, my name started, let me just go through it. He drew on my, we will cross it. We will cross the river when we get there. No when you started. And like I said, if this guy had succeeded in breaking the record, if he had actually registered, this record that he said 820 hours, the current record is 100 and something. He did it for like a month and over. That would have been an unbreakable record. Who can cook, expose themselves to the heat, the health risk of standing on their feet for one whole month, no sleep, probably some naps here and there if you're able to accumulate enough hours to take those naps and all of that. 5 minutes every hour is not enough for you to even take a nap. Yeah. Now, for one whole month, it was an amazing feat. Only if he had registered. But like I said, this is no excuse. It doesn't mean what he's done is right. And to no, I will condemn it. And it's not an excuse. There's no excuse for you to do this in the first place. Except, say, I think, say, we should all try and find a place in our house to forgive this guy. I mean, he's been remorseful, whatever pacho, and as for. A chopper is not enough. But then that's what I'm saying. From the mental health perspective, we all know the country we live in. A man for Mubeno, a baby who know around or Namania de church. Aqua say, no, what the Koye say, no, Mongener, and who phone Wada dying. Like, people will be doing those things and it's going to affect him. He kept repeating that, throughout his interview, that I don't deserve to live, I don't deserve to live. And I was like, why is this guy even making such statements in the first place? Yes, why a mistake? But why are you still making those statements? Is it just to force us to, like, emotionally blackmail us to forgive you or what? But how are you going to feel about it? Let's just try now. And I don't know whether Sisi and I Yaba big keys, and I'm sure Guinness World Records now know about it and him. Whether so or allow no so or register or allow no so 1 year and because of what he's done, he's been banned to more allow no cry and here. But if only they are going to allow him, I think say it would be best he go and register. Nah, like also he was hospitalized for more than a month, and that's no news. I mean, after what he went through, being hospitalized for more than a month is the least he could he could experience. Like, yeah, so when you're not for cry, so And if possible, say video evidence, no one as if we submit those ones, no, for Guinness World Records to review it and probably give him the record. Fine, but if not, yeah, well, life goes on. Maybe someone will give him an opportunity for him to actually work to earn his living. Na edwuma kakra bia yese ne nsa aka no eno nso nkonkonkonko no ene nasefo. I mean, to err is human. Obende chena na ye de beche no. And omo nso ofom omo, especially the assistant. Hey, assistant no. After everything she did, the sacrifices, standing right beside you, going through everything with you. None after ni nyina echi. The ono so ba be hunu ni. I hope say amount form when abu phone ko so assistant no so. No so am affecting be. I'm just hoping because you know and this guy really needs to go for a psychological evaluation. Na yen checking our dream and bisa questions and finding say who know like exactly what is going on with him. Like he said, all is not well, and I don't want to think all is well. All is not well. It cannot be well like that. Have a nice day, guys. Nah, like I said, yeah, guy in the born in general.